So, 11 Rules for Life is my first, it's more than just a self help book, but it's my first self help kind of book which I have written. I normally write fiction, novels, love stories. I was working in a bank. I never thought I'll have a career as a writer and I'll write something and it'll be going for 20 years and I'll still be giving interviews after 20 years. Next month in May is when 5.1 turns 20, which is my first book. And I think I've become better as a writer.
I'm Surbhi Rawat, a lifestyle journalist, and today we have with us popular author and motivational speaker Chetan Bhagat. So, welcome Chetan to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And without further ado, I'll dive into the questions. So, we have Chetan Bhagat with us for his newly released book, 11 Rules for Life. So, firstly, congratulations, Chetan, on your new book.
Thank you so much. It's always nice. I've written quite a few, but yes, it's always nice to have a new one.
Yes. So his latest book is a non-fiction, and if Chetan, if you could tell us a bit more about it, how was how did you come up with the idea, and what was the process
Yeah.
like?
So 11 Rules for Life is my first, it's more than just a self-help book, but it's my first self-help kind of book which I have written. I normally write fiction, novels, love stories. Now the thing is, I wanted to do a different kind of self-help book. So it has got some fiction in it. It has got a story as well of this boy Viraj who brings me lunch every day. He works as a delivery guy, and I tell him one rule of life every day. So there's that story track which makes the reading more interesting. And it also has a lot of my own personal journey in life, which is part memoir. And of course, on that, all these mistakes I've made in life bring out the 11 rules of life. So it's my first attempt at something like this. It's got a pretty nice response. I've been writing for 20 years, and at least in terms of the reviews online, like Amazon average rating, this is the highest of any of my books. So that's incredible to have because I have some very big hit books behind me. But to still be able to top those and have a better rating than all those books, that's very nice.
Talking about your own journey, Chetan, from writing the three mistakes of your life to writing 11 rules for life, how has your journey been as an author, and any particular thing that you have learned as a person?
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. It's been an incredible kind of a career that was accidentally discovered by me. It was never something I was working in a bank. I never thought I'll have a career as a writer and I'll write something and it'll be going for 20 years and I'll still be giving interviews after 20 years. Next month in May is when 5.1 turns 20, which is my first book. And I think I've become better as a writer. But more importantly, I've become better as a person. I've become, maybe it's just age or it's just experience. I've become a lot calmer. I don't get so agitated, angry, upset at anything, like even people criticizing me or my work. And I think the most wonderful thing is I now write from what is coming from my heart. I don't write, okay, this will sell or ye bikega, yeah, this is what publisher wants to write, this is the maximum bestseller potential, nothing like that. It almost doesn't even make some sense sometimes what I'm trying to do. When I started writing 11 rules for life, even my publisher said, why, okay, why are you doing this now? Like you have all these love stories. If you write another love story, it's guaranteed it's going to be a bestseller. Here you're taking a big career risk because if it sinks, then it's like you can't do this, and even it tarnishes the record of the earlier books. But that's not how a true artist should operate. An artist should operate based on the art they want to create. So whatever popular art I create, I may not be a very fine artist in that way, but I am an artist in the sense I create popular art, which is uh, and art means it has to come from the heart. Otherwise, it just becomes a deadline or just a project. And I think that has been the biggest thing for me, that in 20 years I finally rediscovered my purity as a writer. My first book was probably pure, 5.7. I wasn't famous, nobody knew me. And then fame came, I became big, and I'm sure it colored me somewhere. But now it's like all that doesn't matter. It's about what I want to write. So that is an amazing feeling to have the freedom after 20 years to not have the burden of your own success.
Talking about the burden of your own success, as you said right now, do you think being a successful author or being a successful person has some is a burden on you in some way, or was a burden
I,
on you in some way.
I think so. Everything in life comes with a bill. Nothing comes like just free. And even success comes at a price. And we are never told that, but it's there. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Um, like people always say, follow your passion, follow your passion. Just go for it. Like go for your dreams and just yeah, just focus. But what that means is when you're doing that, and that is what I did, everything else becomes a distraction, including your family. You'll become a distraction because you're supposed to focus, put everything behind your passion. But life isn't just that. Life is friends, life is family, life is health. And I think that somewhere down the line, I had ignored and I lost my health. I lost connections with friends. Even my family must have felt like, okay, dad's always busy, dad's always because I'm building, I'm getting opportunities to make movies and books and be on stage all the time doing motivation talks. So one is I've now learned to balance success, to not go blindly after it. If it comes, great, but it cannot come at the cost of certain other things in life. I think that's a big one. And I think second is, I think as I mentioned in the book as well, that I think a lot of the success I was doing to somehow be good enough for my father and who never felt I was good enough. And I think that's a thing with a lot of Indian children, especially boys, but I think even with women. Um, and I sometimes feel whether I achieved all these things, IIT, IIM, books, movies, all this, did I just do it to like prove that I was good enough? And fundamentally, I'm some like that's not what I wanted to do. It was just done to like tell the world that please love me. And that's an interesting thought. I mean, and I think some of it was that. So now I've calmed down a lot. Now it's like, okay, I don't need to project my dad to the whole world and say like, no, no, I'm lovable. I'm lovable as it is, whether or not I have a bestseller or not. So I think that's been an amazing, and you can learn this only after you've gone through that huge journey of massive fame, massive success. And then you say, okay, some people just go crazy. Some people just keep chasing that all their life and they die, just, getting addicted to that fame and money and success. And I think if you're lucky, you get to examine that this was also kind of like a drug. And this is not all there is to life.
Right. So what you are saying is more about, waiting for an external validation, maybe to prove
Yes,
yourself.
we all do. Don't we all? We all do.
Hmm.
Of course, we all do it. I think age teaches you that doesn't really matter. There is a true us. And if I am happy with 11 rules for life, that's enough. And I was very happy with the book. I knew it's a book I really wanted to write. And yeah, okay, I'm not comparing. Will it sell as much as love stories? Will it not? It doesn't matter. In fact, now it will. But when it came out, the expectations was it won't. It will not do. It'll do a fraction of the usual Chetan Bhagat masala novel. But actually, it's going to beat those. Okay, good. But my writing, it was not for that. My writing, it was not for that validation. Is it what I have been true to myself? Have I written the book I wanted to write? And that's a much better feeling and way to operate in life than constantly seeking validation. It's really scary when you get in that trap because it never stops. And we live in that world today. Why are people posting things on Instagram? Unless you have some work related Instagram, most people are just posting for one thing, likes.
True.
What are those likes? It's just validation. What can you put it in your resume that I got so many likes? It's not, but we still make an effort. We want to be seen as good. We take 10 pictures, put the best one, delete nine others. What is all that? It's all validation. So I think it's the human nature to seek validation. The problem comes when your life becomes entirely driven by that validation. That means you're a puppet and other people are running your life. And I think that's what 11 Rules of Life tries to do. It tries to give you control back of your life so that you can be better. Just be a better person in every aspect: success, health, mental health, achievement, money, everything. That book will help you be better. That's it.
In one of the chapters, you also mention about, about taking accountability of everything in your life, and maybe,
Yes.
and that can, help you succeed. So if you could just elaborate that a bit.
We like blaming other people or circumstances or situations. Like if I had a better spouse, my life would be better. Or if I had more support from my parents, or if I was born in this city, or if I was okay, maybe you're right also. But what do you do about it then? It just becomes a rant. But it's much better if you say it was all it's on me. It's my fault that I have not done anything about that situation. I could have done something. And the moment you start saying it is my fault, you can make an action plan. Okay, I need to stop getting affected by my spouse so much. If they are not supporting me, I need to find my own support. Okay, you have a plan. But the first step is to take accountability. Like I said, in chasing success, I may have ignored my friends. I may have ignored my family. I may have let go of my health until I accept that. Rather say, "Ab main kya karu?" It's not easy, maintaining yourself to be a writer. I'm getting old. So many young writers are coming. I have to keep up. Of course, I will make it's not my fault. This is what this business is all about. How's it helping? Nothing. Rather, I say, I think I have messed up. I messed up my health. I messed up some relationships in the pursuit of massive success, which I did get, which is amazing. But now, like writing five more bestsellers in 5 years or two in 5 years, how does it matter on my resume? I'm the same Chetan Bhagat. It will be the same introduction when people introduce me on stage. They normally say, "Hey, Chetan Bhagat, he's a very popular writer, he's a famous writer," or sometimes they say he doesn't even need any introduction. So I'm just doing things which are like not even adding, whether it's 12 bestsellers or 15, who cares? But if I focus on other areas of my life, it's better. But it all begins with taking accountability, which we don't want to take. We do anything. We make excuses, we distract ourselves, we drink, we watch TV, we do anything but sit down with our thoughts and say, dude, I'm screwing up. I'm not doing this right in life. And that's the first step. That's the core of how all this motivation, self-help works. The first, I can only help you if you want the help. You can only want the help if you say, okay, I'm doing something, मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है. I messed up, or it's okay. It's okay. There is no human being. I've interacted with billionaires, movie stars. They've all screwed up. They all like mess up. So don't think you have to be this perfect person, but at least know where are you screwing up in life.
You also write about, taking control of your emotions and
Hmm.
being centered. Um, and the topics that you have covered in the book, they're very spiritual as well, if you see. So if you would,
Yes.
do you think
You know,
spirituality is has played a huge role in your life, and
it
if that,
has,
do you write this book?
yes, it's an interesting observation. At the core of working on yourself, self-help comes being in touch with yourself. That's at the core. Knowing
Hmm.
if I ask you, if I ask the viewer, what is the ideal life for you? Tell me, I will give it to you. What is your ideal life? People won't know. It'll take a while for people. People will say, okay, wait, I have to think about that. एक मिनट सोचने दो कैसी चाहिए आइडियल लाइक कहाँ रहूंगा मैं कैसा घर होगा you don't even know what you want. What is the ideal in life for you? You don't know because you're not in touch with yourself. Most of us are not. बस जिए जा रहे हैं चले जा रहे हैं अभी बस पकड़ लो अभी यहाँ चले जाओ अभी इसकी पार्टी में चले जाओ अभी इस ऑफिस चले जाओ and spirituality is also the same thing, being in touch with yourself. Be in your own consciousness. Don't be so there is a convergence there. In India, spiritual teachings are there. A lot of them, we don't call them self-help books, but they are spiritual books meant to help you become better. So I wanted to come from a very practical point of view, very scientific, very um, tested in neuroscience point of view, which again, spirituality can also be. But I think the more practical you are, the more actionable things you do. That's the kind of book I wanted to write, not just conceptual. कि हाँ भाई सब माया है तुम ऐसे नहीं करना मेरे को. I know my readers. They are young people, and they are somewhere down the line. They want to improve. I mean, they want to make their salary from 20,000 to 30,000. They want to. lower their weight from 80 kilos to 70 kilos. Like these are practical things, and
Hmm.
I want to help with that. But yes, at its very core is some spirituality, which means I matter and there is a me, and I have to take charge of my life, and nobody's going to do it. And I have to get better. Even like from a God point of view, God has sent you to this world. You want to show God that it was worth it sending you, no? Like you are working hard every day and you're trying to be the best person you can be. नहीं तो God is watching you. लेटे हुए हो सारा दिन Instagram reels देख रहे हो, chips खा रहे हो, क्या है ये? So yes, there is a certain spiritual aspect to this for sure.
So, are you a spiritual person?
This is one of those things that sounds like very like pretentious. But I'm a very spiritual person. I don't know. I'm full of flaws. I'm not a perfect, like I'm not a saint or anything like that. So, but I try to be. Yes, I try to be. Uh, I've become okay, and I think for a writer, like I've seen getting bored or being with your thoughts thrives creativity. But it's very
Hmm.
uncomfortable to not be with your own thoughts. You don't want to face it. Some really dark stuff comes up from the past and all that. But I now practice. I like to say, okay, you know what? It's okay. Let's figure out what's in the head that is hidden. Let it come in my thoughts. Whether that's spirituality, whether that's working on some kind of a self therapy, that's I don't know. But yes, I would say I am an introspective person who wants to live an examined life. Figure out क्या कर रहा हूँ, क्यों कर रहा हूँ, क्यों उठ रहा हूँ सुबह, क्यों कर रहा हूँ ये इंटरव्यू आपके साथ. Yeah,
Hmm.
I try to question it. So yeah, maybe I am spiritual. पर अभी तक बाबा नहीं बना बस. भगत बाबा. फिर नहीं तो हम आप कैसे करेंगे. फिर आप मुझसे पूछोगे, चेतन, what is the meaning of life? And then बोलूँगा, what is life? ये वो ऐसे गोल गोल घुमा के वो नहीं, प्रैक्टिकल बातें.
Hmm.
Are you having good health? Are you having a good career? Are you having social connections and relationships? Are you having enough money? These are things which are the real things, and all these things contribute to you as a person. So उस पे I focus. Still very rooted and grounded, not ऊपर माया spiritual. अभी नहीं, उतना ज्ञान आया नहीं अभी तक शायद.
Yeah. So, out of these, the 11 rules that you have mentioned in this book, what is the one rule that you abide by in your life?
There are all these rules I've broken in the past. So I
Hmm.
guess the question is, what is the one rule I abide by now? I try to abide by all of them now. But definitely the first rule is never ignore your fitness. That's the first rule, which is whether you want to be engineer, whether you want to be banker, whether you want to be an athlete, it doesn't matter. A fit person is going to be feel better, do better, achieve better. So I try to do something for my fitness every day. Yes, always. So that I try to do.
So, is there any fitness routine that you're following?
The best fitness routine is the one you can stick to. And each person is different. My mother goes for a 1.5 hour walk every day. She's 76. That's what works for her. For me, I used to run a lot pehle, and now I realize that just running also leads to a lot of muscle loss. That's not good as you age. So I lift weights also. But what works for me is enough variety. अगर आज, if I don't feel like lifting weights, I can run. If I don't feel like running, I can swim if I have access to a pool, or I can just go for a walk, or I can go for a yoga class. कुछ रोज करना है. That's the what works for me. Some people do very well. Just 3 days a week, they'll go crush it at the gym. बाकी दिन नहीं करते. For me, if I start skipping days, then then हिसाब नहीं हो पाता मुझसे. Better to say रोज कुछ करना है, even if it's a walk.
Hmm.
So I do these things which I enjoy, and yeah, that's I just vary it up and listen to a podcast, music, whatever makes me go and do it. It doesn't matter. ऐसा नहीं है कि it's all your brain, right? Whatever your brain will say, आज भी करते हैं. That's what's going to lead to maximum benefit in fitness. And same
Uh,
goes for diet.
hmm.
And fitness is not just diet and exercise, by the way. There's another very important component, which is sleep. So that's like people think ये कैसे fitness है, but you if you have to recover. from your day and from any exercise you're doing. So that's also something I try to do now to get proper sleep.
You know, there are many times when people go through self doubt, and even as writers, a lot of writers feel that, whether whatever they have written is good enough. So, what is your view on it? Like, how can one get over it?
I mean, not just writers, everybody goes through self-doubt. We
Right.
all feel, I think this is a fundamental thing. That's where, in fact, that whole validation comes from. कि लोग बोल दे तुम अच्छे हो because हमको लगता हम नहीं है अच्छे. It basically
Hmm.
stems from your own self-esteem and insecurity. And it is difficult. It takes a long time in life to get to that stage where you say, I am enough. ठीक है, मैं ठीक हूँ. I may not be great, I may not, but I'm not a loser. I'm not like this. I'm a good, like I'm fine. I'm enough. That is the feeling you need to have as a person. वही फिर राइटिंग में आएगी, वही फिर कुकिंग में भी आएगी, वही फिर कोई भी जॉब करोगे उसमें आएगी, इंटरेक्शंस में आएगी, रिलेशनशिप्स में आएगी. And I think people again starts with you facing your thoughts that I have very low self-esteem. I have a problem. I have to take accountability कि ये क्यों है. And then it's a whole process. But yes, it all stems from a low self-esteem in general. So you have to work on that.
And what is a piece of advice that you would like to give to youngsters today?
The full piece of advice is 11 rules of life, right, guys? I want, अगर एक लाइन में, it's become this fashion. फटाफट बताओ, tell me the TLDR. एक लाइन में बताओ, एक रील्स में बताओ, एक शॉर्ट्स में बताओ. मैं नहीं बता सकता बिकॉज वो मैं बनाता हूँ मेरे अपने इंस्टा पे, मेरे अपने यूट्यूब पे बहुत सारे रील्स और शॉर्ट्स हैं. बट आई कैनॉट ड्रिल एंड रीवायर योर ब्रेन from a short or even a video. I can't do it. I need to go in depth. Just as you cannot become a physicist by just watching videos. You'll have to read physics ke books and do it. So books ka jo purpose hai. So my advice is to go read 11 rules. Just read it. It's a very quick book to read. It's half the size of my normal books, which itself are very easy to read. ये उससे भी ज्यादा easy है पढ़ने के लिए. Because I was very scared, कि ऐसे लोग ये ना बोले ज्ञानी अंकल आ गए हैं, अब बड़े हो गए हैं तो ज्ञान बांट रहे हैं. No, it's a really fun book. You will enjoy it. There's a story. There's a lot of examples of where I've screwed up, and I've written it in a very easy flow way. So read it, and maybe it'll help you. It'll just help you. कोई नहीं आएगा ना तो help करने, तेरे को खुद ही करना पड़ेगा. कोई तो आके कहेगा नहीं कि better हो जाओ life में. अब अगर if somehow you have stumbled on this video, you're watching this interview, pick up that book, read it. It's got 50 years of my entire life in it, and I don't think I've put as much time in any book because I put my whole life in this. And if I've had a very interesting journey and you can pick up some things from it, why not? What else would you rather do? Watch reels?
And lastly, Chetan, what are you working on next?
Well, I've just I have to remind myself that I do need to promote books. I do need to. I must say I after 20 years you feel like अरे अभी लिख दी अभी काफी है. But it's not fair on my team and my publisher and everything. And the problem with like not needing validation is you don't need the media interviews itna. You know,
Hmm.
ठीक है मैंने लिख दी, but I have to do it. And I think I try to tell myself कि how will people find out otherwise? So through this, and if even if I have written the book for a good thing, like even promoting it, I have to do. So I'm busy with promoting 11 Rules for Life and figuring out what's the next thing I want to do. But very clear that it will not be अब ये करते हैं project deadline. ऐसा craft नहीं होगा, art ही होगा. And art means वो आएगी मेरे पास कहानी अपने आप आएगी. So waiting for that कहानी to come.
Thank you so much for your time, Chetan. It's
Thank
lovely.
you.